All right, let's see. All right, sounds like you guys can hear me now. Can you guys hear me now? Hopefully, fingers crossed. It sounds like you guys can. Oh, it looks like you guys can now. So I'll start over. Happy Saturday, everyone. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Just wanted to come on here and ask you guys, how was your Thanksgiving? Did you guys have some fun? Did you guys hang out with some good friends, good family? Did you guys enjoy some great food? If you did, what did you guys enjoy? Let me know in the comments. How many of you guys took the time to learn some good stuff this weekend? Um, just like Mr. Williams was saying here, it's a little bit echoey. Yeah. I have my AirPods on. That's probably why. No biggie. Give me a couple seconds here, guys. We'll get this patched up. Let me grab my little microphone setup that I usually use. Um, what do you guys want to learn? Give me a second. I'm still here. What do you guys want to learn? Talk to me. Let me know in the chat what topic you guys want to talk about, and I'll see how I can help you guys. So let me know. Is there anything in particular you guys want to talk about, learn about today? Might be something I don't know, and then we can learn about it together. Um, you guys talk to me. What's up? Should work. It is not cooperating today. All right, let's see. Go to my laptop mic. How does that sound, guys? You guys can kind of let me know how that sounds. All right. How does that sound? Does that sound better? How to understand EVAP systems and its diagnostics from A to Z. That's a whole class within itself. How many of you guys want to chime in and kind of give some insight on how an EVAP system can, a little bit of functionality and some testing for it? That's a good one right there. Uh, just as the other day, guys, I'm switching back and forth because we are doing a live. You guys are both watching from TikTok and YouTube, so I got both of you guys on here and can work with you guys on that. Darius, what are we learning today? Well, let me know what you guys want to cover today. Little subject. See what I can help you guys with. That's the main purpose of being on here with you guys, is kind of helping you guys learn something new. We can all talk about it, and it's more of like an open forum in a way. Just like I run my classroom, is just because I'm teaching it doesn't mean that you guys can give your input. So let's talk about it. Let's see what you guys got. Also wanted to kind of let everybody know. Hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope that you guys enjoyed it with your family. Hope you guys didn't eat too much, but if you did, make sure that you guys let us know. And let's talk about what you guys got. So let's see here. John Lamb says, got any tips to tackle an intermittent sticking purge valve on an EVAP system? So if anybody has some insight for John, go ahead and drop it in the chat box here, and then we can kind of talk about it some more. So we got two questions today on EVAP. One is how to understand the EVAP system to diagnose it from A to Z. Any tips on tackling an intermittent sticking purge valve? Okay, so we'll talk about those first, and then Jason will jump into yours. So when it comes to EVAP system, we have different types. Usually, or one of the first versions was the vacuum decay system, which used a purge valve, vent solenoid, and a fuel tank pressure sensor. Then we went to a leak detection pump, an LDP, then a natural vacuum leak detection pump, and then now eSIM for some Chryslers and European vehicles. But for easier concept of how the system works is a vacuum decay is usually the better one to start with. So with a vacuum decay, the way the system's going to work, you got a purge valve and you got a vent solenoid in the rear. Vent solenoid is going to be open to allow positive pressure in to push vapors out of the canister when the purge valve opens to create a vacuum and draw them out of the canister, right? When we close the vent solenoid in the rear and we close that one, we'll open the purge to allow vacuum into the system. And when we do that, we're watching the fuel tank pressure sensor to make sure that the system is creating a vacuum. Once that vacuum is created, then what's going to end up happening there, we'll close the purge and vent are now closed. PCM is going to monitor the loss of vacuum by the fuel tank pressure sensor over a period of time. Once that happens, if there is no loss or very minimal loss, the PCM will say we're hunky-dory, everything's good, no codes here. But if there's a loss of vacuum during a specific amount of time, then that's how the PCM knows if it's a small leak, medium leak, or large leak. So now that we got that down, the other question was any tips to tackle intermittent sticking purge valve? The ones I've seen usually when a purge valve is getting stuck, most of the time what ends up happening is you're going to initially start with a ridge condition, right? So this is where a lot of technicians kind of get a little weirded out. And the reason why you start with the ridge condition is because obviously the purge valve might be stuck open, so you're pulling all the vapors out of the canister when it shouldn't be. So it's going to have it's going to start progressively with a ridge condition and end up with a lean condition. Why? Well, you're going to run out of vapors sooner or later. And once that happens, what are you going to be drawing into the system? Air. Why? Because the vent solenoid's open. So one of the ways that I usually try to look at the purge valve is I'll take just a regular pair of pliers and I'll pinch whichever line is rubber, either the input or the output line for the purge, and then I'll watch my fuel trim. If my fuel trim changes, right, then that's letting me know that more than likely the valve is probably being stuck. One of the problems though is some manufacturers will purge it at idle, right? Some will, just depending on the pressure, some won't. So one of the ways that I do that is using a pair of pliers. The other way is you can always remove the line that goes to the fuel tank or the canister and put a vacuum gauge on it. If you got vacuum to it, right, when you know the valve should be off, then you know the valve is open and allowing vacuum through it. Okay. The other thing that usually ends up happening is sometimes it'll happen cold. If you believe that the condition's happening at a cold start, one way you can confirm that is looking at freeze frame, right? The thing you can do there is remove the purge, throw it in the freezer, right? And I've done this before and I teach this. Remove the component, throw it in a freezer for a good 8 to 10 hours and leave it there. And once you get there in the morning, put it in the car and then start the car up. And the reason why you're doing that is this way you can see how the valve is going to act in a cold environment, which is a lot of times when we have those problems. If it doesn't act up, then try it the other way, right? Get it hot. I don't mean throw it in the microwave, but maybe grab a heat gun, keep it far away, heat it up, right? And then once it's nice and hot, put it back in the car and then test it. Okay, I learned this from an aviation mechanic because they need to stress test most of these components, right? It's not like in an airplane you can just pull over and call for AAA. You're either flying or you're in the ground, right? You don't have an in-between. So that's why they usually stress test stuff like that to verify that those components can actually take that beating. So that's a good way of you guys actually checking it. So for purge valves, usually I'll take some pliers, watch fuel trim once I pinch it off. Or if it's still not acting up, I'll pull it off and throw it in the freezer and then test it from there. Got another question. From Jason, says map sensor, when you have key on engine off, it reads barometric pressure. When you floor the engine, you're supposed to get barometric pressure, but if you don't, what does that mean? Well, how bad is it off, Jay? Because that can kind of lead you in the direction. Also, too, don't just look at the map sensor. Make sure you're looking at your fuel trims and O2 sensors. And the reason why is, what if it's not reaching its full barometric pressure and you got a rich condition? What does that mean, right? Let me know in the chat. If any of you guys know, throw it in the chat. What digital storage oscilloscope do you recommend? So MJ, that question honestly really depends on how much, what are your funds? How much money do you have available? And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's that's the best way I can get you to a good tool. What's your budget, right? Once you know what that budget is, make sure your budget also includes your time that you're going to invest, time for training and all that fun stuff, because you're going to need to know that information also. So make sure that you're aware of the added investment, not just for the tool, but make sure that you're aware that your investment's also going to include time and time for training. So drop it in the chat, MJ. Let me know. Joe, got your ebook, Advanced Life Diagnostics. Highly recommend. Easy to understand. Great book. Hey, thanks, Joe. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much, man. That right there is really heartwarming. That I did a lot of work on that, and I really appreciate that info, man. That's one thing that I always try to do on all my classes and anything I teach, is try to keep it as basic as possible. And I always told, my mentor always told me, if you make it difficult, people won't do it, right? So I try to keep it as cool, as easy, and easy to understand and digest. Most importantly, is easy to apply. So I really appreciate that, Joe. Anything you need, bro, just hit me up. You guys know that I'm here to help you guys as much as I possibly can. And thank you for being on here, bro. MJ, about $1,000, okay? Are you looking for just a scope? Any accessories, maybe a low amp probe, high amp probe, delta sensor, anything like that? Some better diagnostic leads, right? Talk to me, man. What are you thinking there? That way we can kind of get a better idea. Do you already have that? Are you just getting into scoping? All that information is important, bro. So let me know on that. And those of you guys just joining in, just an open conversation today. Just kind of wanted to say hello. I wish everybody a happy after Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and just seeing how everybody's weekend was, what you guys did, how was it? Did you guys have some good food, some nasty food, and that fun stuff? Then also wanted to remind you guys too, like Joe was saying, we got a Black Friday deal going on with all our books right now in English and Spanish. So if you guys go to our website, masterautomotivetraining.com, you guys can actually buy the books with a discount, and I'll put the discount code in the chat here real quick. It's Thanks 2014. 2024. Use that in the discount code section, and you guys will get 15% off on your order as a thank you for you guys. So make sure that you guys check that out, because we want to help you guys as best we possibly can. So let's see here. So Joe's saying on the live data diagnostics from the book, you can explain it a little bit more than what you talk about. So on the book, Jay, the book actually, what I do is I'm going to break it down as how the sensor itself works, how to test it, and common faults that you might be seeing from that particular sensor. Like perfect example on the map sensor situation that you were talking about. So I talk about that in the book. And if, for example, if you have a map sensor that's not reaching barometric pressure and you have negative fuel trims, meaning it's rich, then you got a restricted exhaust. So you want to look at stuff like that, because that's going to help you. So when it comes to diagnostics, right? Let's start from square one. When it comes to diagnostics, our job is to quickly identify where the general area for the problem might be, right? And usually what ends up happening is when somebody starts a diagnostic or diagnosis, which honestly we should call it an evaluation. When we begin to evaluate a car, we normally start with a 16, 18 foot, 19 foot car. My job is to reduce that from 18 to 19 feet to a general section within the vehicle, right? And if you guys have taken my drivability class or you guys have my drivability book, you know that I always talk about there's 3 different things that can affect an engine's drivability, right? Which is air, fuel, mechanical, or ignition. My job is to quickly determine in which one of those 3 areas is a problem going to be and how am I going to figure it out. So at that point, that's when we start thinking, how can I generally test this whole system, right? So I'll give you an example. Car comes in with a PO 305, okay? What do most techs do? 305, I'm going to cylinder number 5. Let me swap coils real quick and see what happens, okay? You could do that, right? You could definitely do that. But what if after you do that, it doesn't correct anything, okay? So what I do, and this is what I teach, and this is what we do at the shop. Car comes in and has a misfire, right? Well, again, 305, cylinder 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a general test. I'm going to do a relative compression test. Why would I do a relative compression test? There's nothing worse than me recommending a coil and a plug to then come find out the engine has low compression, right? I'm not doing a compression check. All I'm doing is using my oscilloscope across the battery, or I'm using my scope across pin 4 and 16 of the DLC, or I'm using a high amp clamp around the negative side of the battery. Crank it, and if I see a repetitive low starter draw, that means that specific cylinder is low on compression, right? If I run that test and they all look relatively the same, in my mind, it's more than likely not going to be a compression problem. So then now it's either an air fuel problem or ignition problem, right? If it's misfiring, okay, now it could either be a fuel problem or it could be an ignition problem. Now at that point, it's what other tests can I run to verify which one it is, right? What if I have a 5 gas analyzer, an emissions machine, a machine that reads 5 gases? I could put the probe in the tailpipe, and if my hydrocarbons are not elevated, but I have a high level of oxygen, that's telling me it's a fuel-related misfire. There's no fuel there, right? My other thing would be, can't I get a secondary ignition waveform pattern, snap the throttle, and see if I have any problems within a specific cylinder, right? So we have to first do a general idea and then start going from there, okay? So for the live data diagnostics book, basically what I'm showing you guys is, all right, let's say map sensor. How does a map sensor work? Frequency, if it's a hertz style or a digital style, or if it's an analog style, strain gauge, right? We talk about all that information. So I took everything that I've seen from case studies, working at the shop, and stuff that we've ran into the shop, and we put it in a book, okay? We talk about the O2 sensors, we talk about mass airflow, I talk about mode 6, also talk about freeze frame, why it's important, basic things in there. We also talk a little bit about in-use performance tracking, even though most people say, I'm not in emission state. Doesn't matter. In-use performance tracking is gold if you understand how to use it. Mode 6, it's genius if you understand how to use that information. Is it really? Warfare, is that on? Oh, crap. Let me see. Hold up. Let me check that for you right now. So a couple of things. Oh yeah, you're trying to do the ebook, buddy, or you're trying to do the physical book? If you guys buy any of the physical books right now, the only ones we do have in stock is Automotive Electrical in English. The other ones, due to the holiday, were a little bit whatchamacallit. We sent them to get printed. The problem was that due to the holiday, they got a little bit backed up. So apologize on that, but let me fix this real quick. All right. So I just fixed it, man. I don't know why that happened on the ebook, but it's available, dude. If you want to go ahead and check it back out, it's there. Um, if you guys do get an ebook, once you purchase it, then we'll add you to our online portal. In the online portal is where you'll be able to then have access to the book 24/7. So once you guys go through it, and then I'll probably be doing it right now that I'm on online with you guys. I can grant you access, so that way you guys can get access to the ebook. You're welcome, bro. Hey, Brad, what's going on? Happy Saturday, my friend. Thank you so much for being on here, buddy. Um, hey, if you guys are in Texas and you guys need some work done on your car, make sure you guys check out my buddy Brad. Uh, really great shop, great dude. He'll take care of you guys 100%, no doubt. Um, so you guys are freaking awesome. I wanted to come on, say what's up, say how you guys are doing. Thank you guys as usual, because again, you guys are probably gonna hate or get bored of this by the end of the time, but I want to thank you guys because honestly, if you guys are the driving force behind everything we do at MAT, Master Automotive Training. So we really appreciate that, guys. And um, for those of you guys joining in, we were having a great discussion so far about what is a scope we can use. MJ, I didn't hear back from you, bro. Are you looking for stuff with accessories or not? And then we also had some good questions earlier from Jason and John about EVAP. So we were talking about that. If you guys want anything you guys have questions, or there's a topic you'd like to discuss, drop it in the chat real quick, and we'll all jump in. Um, One thing I tell you guys is nobody's better than anybody. You have a question, drop it in there. We'll all help you. There'll be no put downs. If anybody puts somebody down, I'm going to kick you off, because that's not how we're going to better each other and better the industry. We're here to help each other, and that's what it's all about. So, you guys got any other topics you guys would love to talk about? Drop them in the comments, drop them in the chat, so we could really talk about it. And then, how many of you guys are, if you're on TikTok, did any of you guys get a chance to look at the video that I posted for the shop? It's pretty good video on a car that we worked on, um, and well, actually my guys worked on. I wasn't there, but it was pretty dope. The whole diagnostic process that we went through. What I ended up doing was helping them figure out what was going on with it, um, using a 5-gas analyzer. So they were checking it out on the 5-gas, and then that's how they were able to pinpoint a misfire at cold start. It was pretty ingenious the way they went through the whole process. So I'm gonna share this with you guys. If you guys have a chance, check it out. It's a really good it's a really good video on it. So go ahead and check it out when you guys get a chance. That one's for the shop, so that's not on the school's TikTok or anything like that. But again, if you guys have anything you guys would like to talk about, go ahead and drop it in the chat box there. We could definitely chat about it. That's what my main thing was about coming on here today, was kind of wanting to see how everybody's Thanksgiving was, see if you guys enjoyed it. Oh, sweet. Warfare, thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it, man. And anything you need, just feel free to reach out. That's what we are here for. And we are most definitely here to help you guys, as always, better the industry. And by helping better the industry, by helping you guys help us better the industry, man. So I really appreciate that. And we got you guys. In the books, I actually also put some links, particularly to like my personal website, where you guys have access to a fuel volume calculator, a lambda calculator, a VE calculator, a mass airflow calculator. So all of that's completely free. I put it on there just to be able to help you guys. So check it out, because that's my work that doing for you guys. Hey, Mechanic Life, what's up, bro? For the IM testing, we don't. Actually, that one, if you're going to do the diesel testing for big rigs, you just go onto the EPA's website and it's an online class. Once you do that, bro, then all you guys got to do is get the Opus machine, and then you guys are ready to start testing. It's not like the actual light duty, medium duty testing where you have to take a class, then pass a test, none of that stuff. You just basically take the online class, dude, and once you're done, you're set gold and you're ready to rock and roll. Um, shoot me a message on here on TikTok, and then I gotta dig for the info because I passed it on to a student not too long ago, and then I'll pass it over to you, bro, so that way you can check it out. Because I know you're working on buses, right? So I know you guys got to get them inspected quarterly. So just send me a message, dude, and I'll get that over to you. If not, I'll send it over to you. I have to study for all my ASCs, all my ASC tests. Nice. Uh, Profe, ¿es usted? um, so for ASC tests, I have a. You're welcome, brother. ASC test, I have A6, AL1 videos on YouTube. I have A6 and A8 right now. Those are really good. Maestro Rufino, hey, if you guys, my Spanish speaking, todos los que hablan español, por favor, sigan al maestro Rufino Martínez. Es uno de los mejores profes. Tuvimos la gran oportunidad de poderlo tener aquí en la escuela dando una capacitación hace poco. Y ahorita vamos a darle a él todo el apoyo para que pueda avanzar más y estamos aquí para apoyarlo. So sigan a Profe Rufino Martínez. Any tips on getting my A6? Yes, sir. So for A6, you need to understand electrical basics, voltage drop, and wiring schematic, and test points. If you understand those key things, you'll pass the A6. The most important thing for you guys, let me tell you guys, the most important thing when it comes to ASC testing, right? Some people are against it, some people are not. Here's my view on it. And if you guys heard the Jaded Mechanic podcast, I talked about it. I don't have anything bad against ASC. I've helped develop the ASC test. Right now, I'm on the list for possibly helping with translation to Spanish for the ASC test. But my thing about ASC test is this is the only way us as professionals can test our knowledge, right? So if I go take an ASC, if I pass it, cool. But it's not a bragging right. If I pass an ASC, it's for me to know what areas am I weak in a specific topic, right? So when you take, like, say, for example, the A6, they're going to grade you on general diagnostics. They're going to grade you on electrical diagrams and all that fun stuff. If you pass it, look at what areas you can improve on and make sure you study up on that. If you don't pass it, it's the same thing. Look at it and see what areas can you get better in, right? Once you have that, then you understand where you're weak and how you can build upon it. Okay, that's what I do. I mean, right now I hold 18 ASCs, and I have ASCs in areas that I don't work on in cars, but I have them because here at the school we do MAT ASC. So the guys, when my students take ASCs, I take ASCs, and whether I pass them or not, I'll take them with my students. So this way, I'm going to do whatever I ask you to do. So that's one way that you guys can actually look at that part. Let's see. John Lamb says, back on the misfire topic, carbon buildup on the intake valves can cause misfires. After traditional misfire, so that what tests can be done to suggest misfires are from excessive carbon buildup. So, John, to answer your question, buddy, vacuum gauge. So usually when I believe there might be excessive carbon buildup, I'll use a vacuum gauge. Because if you have excessive carbon buildup, particularly on a valve, you're going to have a valve that's probably not seating properly, and you might see a small bounce in your vacuum gauge needle. Now, if it's specific to one specific cylinder, which in my A8 class, I actually make a case study on a 2018, I believe, Jeep that came into the shop. It had been to multiple other shops, and we were shop number 4. Turned out it was a bad valve, and we caught it using a vacuum gauge. Now, there's other methods of actually seeing it. You can also see excessive carbon buildup with secondary ignition pattern. If you see a bunch of, you see a very turbulent burn time, that's usually indicative of excessive carbon buildup inside the combustion chamber. So that's another way. or the old school method, but obviously you're not going to see it on the valves, but you'll be able to see it on the piston, is pull the plug out, boroscope, and then go internally. But if you're trying to see it externally, um, Michael Nicholson, actually from the creator of the Nicholson sensor, he actually has a great case study on using a delta sensor. Profe Rufino Martinez also has some videos on how you can use a delta sensor to see turbulent airflow due to carbon buildup using an oscilloscope. But if you're not at that level yet where you're using those kinds of tools, a vacuum gauge is a great tool, and so is the secondary ignition analysis. You'll be able to see those types of issues. Depending on how bad the carbon buildup might be, then you can probably run some liquid through it. Just make sure that there's no uh, stagnant points. So make sure that the vehicle doesn't have like intake manifold runners where some of that carbon can get stuck in. And then if you don't, run some cleaner through it. If not, probably gonna have to remove the intake and do a walnut blasting or something of that sort to kind of get it going. But can you get it going? Absolutely. It's just using some of those different methodology to actually figure it out. I've heard from other instructors that you can't use vacuum gauges anymore. It's like, why not? Last I checked, an internal combustion engine has 4 strokes, so we can always use a vacuum gauge, right? So explain in detail what I would look for on the vacuum gauge. So when you're looking at a vacuum gauge, steady should be 18 to 22 inches of vacuum. You lose one inch of vacuum for every 1,000 feet of elevation gain. But at idle, if you see your vacuum gauge like this, and then all of a sudden you drop about an inch and it comes back, then it stays steady again, and then all of a sudden just bam, drops off, comes back, and you're seeing it almost like clockwork. And what I mean by clockwork is you can pretty much time it of when the next dropout's going to be. It's going to be contributed to one cylinder, and that's usually going to be a cylinder or a valve that's probably not seating properly. So that's a way of kind of verifying that. So you're narrowing it down to that specific cylinder. Now, you could also try a cylinder leak down test, but the carbon buildup needs to be really, really bad for it to actually cause the valve to not seat enough where you're going to get a large leak coming out of it, right? In that case study that I'm talking about, that Jeep, we did a leak down test, and the leak down test passed. And why? Right? That's what my students asked me the other day when I taught that portion of the class. Why not? Well, let's think about it. Does a customer complain of a misfire with the engine on or the engine off? Right? And if the customer is complaining about a misfire with the engine off, do a leak down test. Which they're never going to complain of a misfire with the engine off, right? This is why, again, this is something I talk about in my engine performance classes, dynamic testing versus static testing. I actually talk about it in all my classes. So using a vacuum gauge, aren't I dynamically testing the engine's ability to produce vacuum, right? What interconnects all cylinders? The intake manifold. So this is why if I check the intake manifold vacuum, I'm going to be able to verify if all cylinders are contributing the right amount, right? So this is why using the vacuum gauge is super important, but a lot of guys don't use it anymore because they say, well, you know, engines are newer, we don't need to use that. You could still use it, right? Obviously, if the glass is broken and it's miscalibrated, well, then you need to upgrade. But most of the time, you could do it with a new good gauge. And I would strongly advise you not to cheap out when it comes to a vacuum gauge, because then you're going to end up with the wrong reading. Okay, so make sure that you guys are using a good quality gauge, so this way you guys can verify that information prior to calling it either a bad valve or something of that sort. Hey, B, what's up, man? If you guys need some good quality tools, some diagnostic testing equipment, make sure you guys check out my buddy at Jarhead Diagnostics, Brandon Dills. He has some great stuff going on. Make sure you guys check him out, Jarhead Diagnostics. So make sure you guys check him out. Our boom that we have on our diagnostic cart, where do you think we got it from? Right? So if you guys need some good equipment, make sure you guys check out my buddy B at Jarhead Diagnostics. That's what's up, man. Enjoy your dinner, bro. I got you, bro. All the time, man. Too bad I couldn't see Asta this year, but definitely, hopefully next year, bro. I get to go out there and do some shenanigans with you guys. So we're just talking about B. We're just letting everybody know if they got any questions or anything to drop them in the comments, man. And if you got a minute, you can help answer any of these that are coming in. That'd be super sweet. Going to Vision this year? I don't think I'm going to Vision, bro. That's because I'm gonna be doing the TTST uh, with John Firm. So I'll be in Texas for about a week, and so I had to kind of choose Vision or that. So I'm not going to Vision 2025, but I will be in Texas for like a whole week. But then talking to Brett, maybe Super Saturday, not 100% sure. And then I'll be out there in your neck of the area May 4th and 5th out there at Oakboro with Benji from Frog Pond Performance. So I'll be out there also, man. So it's going to be dope. I think, yeah, with Benji. I think Mike Cleary's going to be there, and so is Rick White and myself. So it's going to turn out to be a pretty dope time. Benji wanted a hands-on scope class. So that's more than likely what we're going to be doing. Uh, oh, no shit. 45. That's dope, man. I'm actually going to be staying out there with Benji and John at Benji's place. So it's going to be May 4th and 5th, dude. I'll make sure that I reach out to you beforehand. That way, you want to swing on by, man. That'd be dope. That way you can show some of the guys some of your equipment, some of your tools, bro. And then that way you get to hang out. Because I haven't seen you guys in a cool minute. So yeah, bro, it'd be super dope. Let's see. L, how would you know if your vacuum gauge is calibrated? So typically the way I look at it, make sure that your needle's ending up on the zero. A lot of times some of the old school gauges on the back have two screws. You can loosen those up and reposition the actual face back to zero. And that usually should take care of the calibration. If you guys are out here near California, or if you're not in California, you can always reach out. I use a company called Precision Instruments here in Pomona, California. They're the ones that I send like my torque wrenches to, my dial indicators to, and my micrometers to, and they do all the calibrations there. It's a little mom and pop shop, so we're always like everybody else. We like to support small businesses. So if you guys check them out, I found them on Instagram, Precision Instruments in Pomona, California. You guys can check them out. I'm pretty sure you guys can mail stuff in. They can calibrate it for you. They're just down the street from me, so for me, it's more like we'll just drive it down. Or last time they sent a driver to pick up some equipment, and then they calibrated, and then they just sent it back. So Precision Instruments on Instagram. Let me see if I can find that link for you guys. I see you guys send me some messages, some chats right here on YouTube. Give me a quick sec, and then I'll get that. I'll get with you guys. Let me see if I can spell today. Oh man. All right, let's see. I'm still looking. All right, let me see if I can find them here. Sheesh. Um, tell you guys what, I gotta check my phone, but I don't have it with me right now. Let me see. Let me see here. Oh man, they must have taken their Instagram down. But yeah, they're Precision Instruments in Pomona, California. They'll take care of you guys. They've been doing some great work for us, so you guys will really like it. Let's see. Gary, do you have online courses? Yes, sir, we do. So if you were to check us out at, I'm adding our website. So that'd be masterautomotivetraining.com. And just click on our online courses tab, and then you'll be able to see all the online courses we have. We actually have a little membership thing going. It's 19 bucks a month, and you guys get access to all new content, pre-recorded classes, all the worksheets, quizzes. So it's basically like you're in class. The only thing is you don't do any labs with me. You have the worksheets to do the labs on your own. So it's super beneficial that way. And one thing that we do with our hey, little, thanks, man. It says you followed us. Appreciate that, bro. So one thing that we do different with our lab sheets is the lab sheets are created between me and my shop foreman, who's also an assistant instructor here at the school. And we create the lab sheets based off of testing processes we did it at the shop. And best part about it is over time, we expect you guys to learn the process so you don't need the worksheet. And it's going to basically mold you into understanding that whole process, how to analyze your results, and then go from there. So that's the reason why we've done it that way. And it's worked out pretty well. The students that have taken my courses and used the worksheets, every so often I'll get some of them hit me up that if they can get a digital copy of it because they lost it or something like that. So it works out very, very well. If you guys join any of the classes, that's what we got. We're working on a few other classes. I know somebody was asking about online scope class, so we're going to be doing one early next year, and then we're also working on another one for electrical. So we got some stuff coming up. Plus, beginning next year, we'll check if you guys are part of the membership. We're also going to be doing like lunchtime little classes, 1 hour class on specific sensors. So this way you guys can kind of understand what a sensor, what the specific sensor does, how to test it, how to look at it, and then some PID analysis on those particular sensors. Because like in my live data book that I did, and then also Brandon Steckler did a great one diagnosing behind the driver's seat. The understanding these specific data PIDs actually help you guys quite a bit. So this way you guys have a great idea of how to start your diag, where to go from where you're at, and especially when you get a drivability concern where you might not have codes, right? So as drivability diagnosticians or technicians, one of our jobs is to diagnose cars with no codes. So when we get cars with no codes, that's when a lot of techs just lose it, right? Because they have no idea where they're headed, what they're gonna do. But if you have a basic understanding the data PID analysis, you might have a great chance of diagnosing the car simply by looking at what your data is telling you. Freeze frame, that's another good one too. If you guys understand how to analyze freeze frame is going to give you a lot of golden information of where you need to go with that specific diag. And most importantly, where most techs screw up is the post-repair verification, right? Usually, and I say this as a joke, which shouldn't be a joke, but who usually verifies a shop or technician's repair? The customer, right? And when do they verify it? After they paid you. So it makes sense why the customer gets really pissed off when a shop misdiagnoses or misrepairs a car. And then instead of taking responsibility for it, what does the shop do? They blame the customer. No, that's not what we told you, or this or that, or it needed that too, right? So freeze frame data, especially if you have a diagnostic trouble code concern, you're going to be able to understand what could be wrong with it and how to be able to fix it properly, and then how to rerun the car in the same pattern that the client was running it when the problem actually occurred. This is how you're going to verify, did I really fix it or not, right? Now, do we have comebacks? Absolutely. Everybody does, right? Now, are they usually because we messed up somewhere? There has been, right? And I actually made a video of one not too long ago where we screwed up. So if that ends up happening, it's okay, as long as you learn from it. So this way it doesn't happen again. If it happens again, then that was a choice, right? So always look at information that way. So this way you guys have a better understanding of what you can and should be doing, right? Another process we've started here at the shop, I don't know if any of you guys do this, but with our Google Drive, we created a folder and we've started our own service information. So car comes in and it's a weird one, right? We go through everything. We finally figure it out. We'll actually document our test processes, what we did, how we did it, and then we'll save it by the year, make, model, and VIN. And this way, if we get another car similar, right? It's not like, shit, how did I figure that one car out 6.5 months ago? No, all we do is go back into our Google Drive, and then that's why we're able to verify, oh shit, that's how I did it. Okay, so look at ways for you guys to be able to help yourselves when it comes to stuff like that in the shop. Okay, because sometimes we won't even remember what we did that morning. Better yet, or yet alone, remember how the hell you diagnosed that one electrical problem that came in a year and a half ago. Okay, so having that extra documentation is super important, because when and if a car comes back, then what can you do? You have stuff to go back and look at, right? And then if you guys have attended any of my live classes, this is why I always talk about this bad boy right here, right? The top scan. I have 2 of these. Each one of my technicians is issued one, right? And my service advisor has one. Why? This little dongle, right? When I travel and I get a rental car, first thing I do before, well, actually, second thing after I take pictures of the car, I put this in the OBD2 connector. And why is because I'm in a rental. So that rental is like 2 or 3 years old. And as I'm driving wherever the hell I'm at, I'm recording data, because the top scan lets you record and save data files. So I'm doing that because sooner or later, isn't that car going to show up in the shop? 100%. Now, if I have good data, oxygen sensor, mass airflow, acceleration, deceleration, cruise, wouldn't it be much easier for me to compare the bad data to my good data and then verify what the hell might be wrong with the car, right? One of the biggest things, and I know B could probably chime in on this, is most of us think we can only fix broken cars. But how are you going to fix a broken car if you don't know what a good car looks like, right? So this is another thing that I always talk about. Car comes in for an oil change. Why aren't you connecting a scan tool while you're on your road test after the oil change, right? To make sure that, one, you did everything right. There's nothing else that might be going on with the car, right? And also, these right here, you're collecting data on that car, because sooner or later, might that car come back to the shop? And if it does come back to the shop, don't you have good data on it that you can use later to verify if everything's good, right? And this is not stuff you'll be able to find on Mitchell All Data Identifix. Sometimes you might, sometimes you might not. So why not start creating your own database? Oh man, the man, the myth, the legend, Buckin' Buckaroo Bob. Hey, what's up, man? Christopher Johnson, rental cars are the fastest cars in the world. Yes, sir, they are. Rental cars are great. They have a lot of good info, a lot of good stuff that we could collect. Actually, last year when I was out in Florida teaching, I was bored as hell in my hotel room. So I went downstairs, pulled out my H-scope, and started looking at data and scoping some stuff in the parking lot, right? So why not? It's a known good car. If you have a known good car, that is the best way for you guys to learn. Why? Because when a bad one shows up, it's going to slap you across the face. You're going to be able to see the difference right off the bat from a good car to a bad car, right? And again, I said this earlier, we tend to focus on the bad ones, right? And I was saying this the other day. A guy gets on the tool truck, buys a $12,000 tool, gets off the truck, puts it away, right? And when is he going to pull that tool out? Whenever he cannot fix a car, right? And he's going to pull a tool he's never used before on a problem he's never seen before and try to figure both things out at the same time. That just spells disaster, right? And just like John Firm's saying right now, for everybody that's in Texas, make sure you guys stay tuned, because we got some good stuff coming up with the TTST event. And the last week of March, we're going to be out in the Texas area. We're going to be hitting multiple cities in Texas to give you guys some of the best training out for you guys in Texas. Also, TTST is going to be sponsoring the event out in North Carolina. So we'll be out there also, making it happen. As always, we're always here to help you guys, and that's what whole TTST is built around, and with a lot of great people, and we're always here to help you guys out. Let's see, B said, every time someone asks me about scope use, I always say start with known good vehicles to learn. 100%. So just like B said, man, if you guys really want to learn what's good, I mean, how to fix bad cars, you got to start with good ones. You need to understand what is a good waveform look like. What does a good fuel injector waveform look like? Because if you're looking at a bad one, how do you know bad from good? You can't, right? So this is why we need to always start with known good patterns, right? I couldn't say it better myself. Then you guys also need to start building your own database of known good patterns, right? If any of you guys use Mitchell or Shopkeep Pro, there's a thing called guided component tests. Now, guided component tests, a lot of times will tell you pin out, what to expect, how to run the test, and in some instances, a known good waveform, but not all the time. So if you guys have those, you guys can always look that up and then kind of get an idea, base it from there. But most of the time, you need to have already built your own. So this is why, as I said earlier, when I believe MJ was asking about scopes, right? And which one should he get? This is why I said it's not just about how much the scope costs, is how much time am I going to need to invest and to learn how to use this particular tool. So this way, when it comes time to actually have to apply it, I have a good sound understanding of how to do so, right? Because there's so much we can do with the scope. There's a lot. There's stuff I don't even know how to do with the scope that others might. So a scope is a really powerful tool, right? The crazy part is most people are intimidated by it because they haven't taken the time to actually practice it and learn how to use it, right? So we got a question over here on YouTube from Mr. 713. Any recommendations to do? I have my ASC A6 on the 5th. Well, first thing, congratulations, man. I know you're going to pass that A6. That's not a difficult test in my opinion. Electrical is one of my favorite topics. I do have a video on YouTube. It's called my A6 Automotive Electrical not workshop, boot camp. Check that one out. It's a 2.5 hour video that I've used. If you read the comments, like the thousands of comments it has, most of the guys passed their A6 with that video. So check it out, bro. If you have any questions, put in the comments. It takes me a little bit to get to you guys, but I definitely will be replying. If you have any questions, you guys can always put them in there. That's what we're here for. So check that one out. Actually, matter of fact, give me a sec. Let me find it for you, and then I'll put it in the chat here. Any of you guys watch Donut Operator on YouTube? If you don't, check it out. It's pretty cool. All right, hold on. Here it is. All right. So we got a question here on YouTube. Not familiar with the top scan. Do you have to manually select your PIDs and start your logs, or does it have a quick log feature? So with the top scan, it's like any other scan tool. It'll auto select a bunch of PIDs, right? And it'll actually auto select all the PIDs, and then you can manually go back in there and deselect the ones you don't want. And when it comes to the log, it is about four keystrokes before it'll actually start logging. So it's not too bad. And then to view it, then you just go into your user profile, and there's like another 3 or 4 keystrokes, and then you can review all those data PIDs. So it's not too bad. I don't mind it. I mean, I've seen worse. So again, it's not, you know, I know sometimes we want super ease and super easy use, but it's not always that easy. So it's still great for what it can actually do. I don't mind having to do most of those little keystrokes, or I kind of just got used to it already. And then I'm like most of you guys, when I got this tool, to this day, I actually have not used the manual. I got this tool, try to figure out how to sync it to my phone. I got it to work, and then I've never looked back. The only time that I did reach out to tech support was because it would not work on my Android tablet. Um, so I actually talked about this class that I did. What I did is I went on Amazon and I bought me an Android tablet, right? Uh, I think it had like 16 gigs of RAM and like 128 gigs of solid state memory. And then what I did is I linked my top scan to it and my H scope. So now I basically created a scan tool, a pretty high end scan tool for, this was $100, right? Then my H scope was gifted to me and my tablet was like $180. So for like around $400, I put together a killer package, right? So if you guys are needing one of these, I actually, Top Scan or Top Don actually gave me a great coupon code for you guys to use. It's for the Top Don Pro. Major difference between the Top Don Pro and the Lite is the Pro actually lets you guys do, there's a coupon code for it if you're looking for a Top Scan. It'll actually do about all manufacturers. You could do generic and manufacturer specific. The Pro, between Pro and Lite, the Pro lets you do about 13 service resets, and it has a mobilizer function where the Lite doesn't. The renewal for the Pro is $100 a year, and somebody said, "Well, for 79 bucks, I'll just buy another one." It's up to you, but what I did with my guys is all of them were due for renewal, so we all just renewed their tools, and they work with AutoAuth. So for Auto Authority, AutoAuth, you get access with the Top Scan as well. So I put that in the comments in the chat there. If you guys are looking for one, you get a great deal. You actually get it 79 bucks instead of over 100, and it's a great tool. So that's how I bundled mine, was with an Android tablet and an H scope. So now basically it's kind of like your Snap-on and your Auto scan tools with a scope attached to it. So it was pretty cool. Just one thing, if you guys are using an H scope, just remember the H scope has a voltage limitation of 16 volts per channel. So you don't want to end up frying it. Make sure you guys are aware of the capabilities of your tool before you guys start plugging stuff in there. You need, most cases when I use the H scope, I have to use attenuation, so this way I don't kill it, but it works very, very well. When I'm at the shop, then probably using my ATS or using my Pico, whatever scope is available, the Mic Sig, whatever I have handy is probably what I'll use. On Wednesday, I was actually sharing with you guys some of the tools that I was. Company sent me 2 scopes to test out, so we'll be doing some videos on that pretty soon. As I was telling the other group, was the way I'm going to test them out. I'm not going to be like I've watched some YouTube videos of some guys testing them, and basically they went like to molecular structure. We're not going to do that. It's basically, for me, is can it stay up to or near to what my Pico does, right? I'll run some basic tests that most techs might be doing on a scope, and then see how well it responds, and then I'll compare that to one of my higher end scopes and see how it does. One of them is a scope voltmeter combination tool, so we're going to test that up against my Snap-on PDI and Fluke meters. That way we can see how well or how close we are. I'm also going to be H-scope software only works with, so we got a question here from L. Does H-scope software work with Windows 11? It only works on Android, sadly. I have not tried a Windows Android emulator. I did try the Windows Android emulator on the VATO 1004 from MikeSig, but it didn't work. So if you want to try it, you definitely can. I do know, I was told by somebody that you can use the H-Scope software to run a Hontex scope. Never tried it, so I can't confirm if it works or not or how well it does, but I have been told that it does. Somebody did tell me that you needed a Windows to Android emulator for it to work, but then you can get it to work on an Android platform. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but I was told that it can do that. So, but the a little H scope is really well, and then it has a 12-bit instead of 8-bit for graphing, so it has very good detail. So it's a 12-bit similar to what Pico does, and most scopes are like a 8-bit, so that would be similar to what like the Snap-on does. So you just kind of play it by that. So as I was saying, with the two that I'm going to be using, actually, as a matter of fact, let me go get them so you guys can see them. So it's the Near C. So it's this one right here. This is one of them. This one is the one channel with signal generator. For if you're a U-scope user, this might be the similar to the U-scope. I have not tried this yet. All I did was remove the plastic. And then this is the one that I'm really interested in for some of my students, especially when I teach electrical. So this is a 2-channel scope with a DVOM and a signal generator. And then this is a single channel scope with a signal generator. So we'll see. Looking at the, John says, thanks for the insight. Happy holidays. John, you're very welcome, my friend. Thank you for being on here, buddy. Appreciate it. So looking at the little itty bitty one, it's got a 448 million samples per second with a 10 million bandwidth. And then it has a time base of 50 nanoseconds to 20 seconds, which is dope. And the limitation with this one is a 40 volt input, right? So that's super important when you're using a scope. You need to understand what are the limitations from your scope. This one right here is 10 nanoseconds to 20 seconds for the time base. Let's see here. It has a 400 volt input, so that's pretty nice. Has a rolling display just like most scopes do. AC/DC, 1 mega ohm of internal impedance. So this one's really on my list to test out. I'm going to be doing some long form videos for you guys, so that way you guys can see how well those are. As I was saying earlier, the way that I'm going to test it out is pretty much just looking at it and then seeing how well it performs compared to some of my higher end scopes. We're not going to do any of that fancy stuff about, is it, oh, this one's off by 10 nanoseconds compared to this one. We're not going to go into that detail. My thing is, can I run the test that I do on my normal scopes on these? And if I'm able to do so, then I'm going to recommend it. If I'm not, then I'm going to tell you guys to stay far away from it, because obviously it's not going to help you guys, and that's not the goal, right? And when this company reached out, I did let them know that I was going to be very truthful in my review. They said that was what they were looking for, so that's exactly what we're going to do. Hey, what's up, bro? All is great, my friend. How are you, man? How's everything? Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, bro. And then how's how the Mario Brothers doing down there? Have you ran into them recently? Wish I was closer to you guys, bro. Be out there attending some of those dope trainings that Mario will be hosting down there. And hopefully I get to head out there soon and spend some time out there with you guys. So again, guys, I wanted to just kind of say what's up, see how everybody's doing, tell everybody, hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving, see if there's anything we can talk about, any topics, or I know today we've talked about EVAP, we've talked about vacuum gauges, we talked about a lot of cool stuff. So if there's anything that you guys would like to talk about, chat about, any concerns, any cars you guys are working on, anything like that, man, please let me know. If you guys are just joining in, I was actually given a great discount code from TopDon for a TopScan Pro. So if you guys are looking for a TopDon dongle, I'm putting that in the chat right now. Make sure that you guys check that link out. That you get the TopScan Pro, which is this little bad boy right here. You get it for 79 bucks instead of 100 bucks. It's super cool. This does immobilizer functions, reset functions, and it does global and manufacturer specific on OBD2. And then also, we have a great sale going on right now on our website. So all our books are 15% off. All you got to use is thanks 2024 for the discount code, and you get 15% off all textbooks, either printed or ebooks. So right now I have a automotive electrical engine performance live data books. So a couple of students were actually talking about them. Here's some that I have with me. We just dropped the L1 book also. So if you guys are interested in that, please let us check them out. So it's masterautomotivetraining.com, and then just use thanks 2024 for the discount code, where you guys get 15% off. So I put these together because these are the books that I'm using in my engine performance, electrical, and drivability class. It also includes 5-gas analysis, data pit analysis. So there's a lot of information in there. Oh, nice. All good. We hung out about a few weeks ago. That's dope, man. If you get to see them, bro, tell them I said what's up. Tell them they're cool as hell. I was down there last year. So if some of you guys don't know, make sure you guys check out Mario Rojas, Super Mario Diagnostics. Great guy, man. He's so humble, so down to earth. I've stopped by, visited his shop. I was out in Florida doing some classes, so I stopped by his shop and gave me a shop tour. Let me mess up some stuff on the soldering station. Then I'm beginning to teach class, and who shows up? The Mario brothers. Mario and Martin show up to my class, man, just to add some more stress, right? And it was freaking awesome, dude. I got to teach a class with two of the industry's best, so it was freaking cool, dude. So Francisco, I hope to see you guys, man. And then when you see those guys, tell them I said what's up. So anybody have anything they'd like to discuss, anything you might have some issues with, some stuff you want to talk about, some tooling, any new tools? How many of you guys got some Black Friday deals? I actually got damn, I can't say it because then they're gonna know, but I got some good deals on some flashlights. That's all I'm gonna say. So make sure, if you guys don't have one, check out Olight for their Arcfield Pro flashlight. They're badass. 2 years. Let's see. Jonathan, what's up, brother? Newbie. 2 years at a small shop. Past 7 Michigan cert so far. Nice. So many parts changers. How do I find a shop that focuses on diagnostics like you teach? So Jonathan, this is something that we talk about a lot, especially like on podcasts and between ourselves. It's very important that not only when you go get hired by a shop, you're not the only one being interviewed. You should also be interviewing the shop owner, right? Because it's like, what are the shop owner's beliefs? What does the shop owner believe? What are man, I had a brain for it. Most importantly is, what is the shop owner's beliefs, right? Why? Because if they don't believe in testing, not guessing, or they don't believe in continuing education, then you're not going to be at a shop that's going to really help you or benefit you, right? But if you go out to a shop and the shop owner's telling you like, hey, one of the requirements of working here is you need to attend 20 hours of continuing education every year. Are you okay with that? Dude, that's the shop for you, right? Another thing, like for us, is we supply all tools, right? That includes hand tools, diagnostic tools, all of them. Why? Because like I've said this in the past, is if you're going to be working and making me money, why should I expect you to buy the tools, right? Well, I've had a lot of kickback by people saying, well, what if they lose the tools? I have not had to replace a missing tool. I've had to replace broken ones, but no missing tools, which is freaking awesome, right? So look for things like that. What kind of equipment does a shop have? Is the equipment up to date? Does the shop owner value that kind of professionalism and clarity with their technicians, right? Like another example, when we opened the shop, I didn't set anything up. We bought all the tools, all the equipment. I brought the guys in and I'm like, where do you guys want everything? Right? And again, I get a lot of people saying, why would you do that? Because I'm not running the shop. I'm not working the shop. They are, right? What if I put the toolboxes all the way in the back, right? But then all the lifts are in the front. So then it's going to take them 40 steps to get to their box, 40 steps back to get back to the car. What if they forgot something, right? That's 2 trips. That's already 120 steps. If I can reduce that, I let them do it, right? So when we have our weekly huddles, it's all right, what do you guys think? Did that work? No. Okay, what could we do to fix it? Let's move it over here. Let's try it, right? So those kinds of things is really what I feel we should be looking for if you're trying to get a good hire at a good shop. So this way that the shop also takes in the importance of talking to you guys as the employees. So this way we can all come together and be able to make it work very, very efficiently. So let's see, 0823, camaré. Buenas tardes, tengo una pregunta. ¿Qué scope pico recomiendas? Yo recomiendo el 4425A. Es de 4 canales, sería su mejor opción. Así para que con ese es bueno para empezar. Compre el kit, el estándar, porque viene con pinza perimétrica alta, baja y sus ondas. Y ya después de ahí le puede ir agregando mucho, mucho más. Y gracias por estar aquí. Cualquier otra pregunta, pónganlo en los comentarios. Have you heard of a Power Probe's new parasitic draw tool? L, I have heard of it. I haven't tested it yet. I haven't got one in my hands yet. I've heard about it. I saw it on, everybody was talking about it from SEMA, but I have not tested one yet. So hopefully we can pick one up and then we'll test it and let you guys know our thoughts. Let's see here. Jack, usually just commanded open and close several times, engine running with hose to EVAP canister. Yep, you can do that also just by working it with bidirectional. The only thing, and not everybody, but some manufacturers will time it out, so then it really can't give you good info, but definitely make sure that you always do the bidirectional. Jack, you actually just triggered a thought. About 2 weeks ago, one of my students brought his truck in and he had a purge flow code. So students started checking purge valve and all that fun stuff. Well, turns out it wasn't even a purge solenoid related. It was a bad air fuel ratio. It was too slow. So the air fuel ratio sensor was detecting the purge flow, but really, really late. So the PCM was seeing it as, oh, there's limited flow, so it set a code for it. So this is where thinking outside the box really helps us out with that kind of stuff. But that was a really good comment, Jack. I appreciate that, brother. Jonathan, did that answer your question, bro? Or what do you think about that, man? Or how have you been going about when you go out to shop interviews? So also too, guys, yo hablo español. So cualquier cosa, cualquier pregunta también lo puede poner en español y con gusto les contesto. So what I was just saying, guys, I also speak Spanish. So if some people drop a Spanish comment, I will reply in Spanish. So just hang out with me. I'm trying to help everybody as best I can. So if you guys hear me talking in Spanish, I'm not talking bad. I'm just replying to a comment. Plus, I'm also looking at TikTok and YouTube comments. So I'm jumping back and forth between the two. And I promise, guys, that I'll help you guys best I possibly can. All right. Remember, guys, we got our books on sale right now on masterautomotivetraining.com. We have ebooks and physical books. All books have 15% off. So if you guys check us out, that's masterautomotivetraining.com. And then use the discount code THANKS. 2024 for that 15% off for all textbooks. That's printed or in person, printed or ebooks. You guys get that discount code from us, so this way you guys can get a massive discount on it. We have plenty of books. The ones that right now we're waiting for, and sorry if I'm not looking at the camera, I'm reading everything here. The ones that we're waiting for right now is going to be our Advanced Engine Performance, and Live Data. They were supposed to be to us last week, but due to the holiday, printing got slowed down. But I promise if you guys buy like the ebook, we'll get you guys access to that ASAP. But if you buy a physical book, hopefully by the end of next week, they'll be in the mail on their way to you guys. All right, so we got you. Clark, will there be an ASC A2 video coming out soon? Soon, I can't say specifically when, but yes, it will. Right now, if you guys know Jose, he's my assistant instructor, and he also teaches the automotive mechanics classes. Him and I are working on that material. So what I can say soon would be by the end of next year. Can it be a lot sooner? Yes, but I just want to say that so this way it gives me enough time to work on everything plus everything else that I'm working on to be able to help you guys with that. So yes, Clark, we will be working on it. It's just, I would say somewhere about the end of 2025, we should have them on YouTube, so that way you guys can check them out, right? I know it takes me a while, but so the way it works is I run the school and the shop. When we develop material, it's usually myself that's writing it, and then Jose and I teach it a few times, fix some twerks on it, and then after that we start looking for case study work that we might have done at the shop to put into it, and then we just start finalizing it from there. Then we got to make sure that it meets all of ASC's criteria, so this way we're teaching you guys stuff that's important for the field. Then after that, we're hunky-dory and we're ready to roll. And in the meantime, I'm teaching. I'm also working on this stuff. Then I have my family. So it takes me a bit, but trust me, guys, I will get it done for you guys because, as I've always said, you guys are the driving force behind us and Master Automotive Training. So we want to give you guys the best, and the way we can do that is by we take in what you guys need, and then we help you provide that to you guys. So I really appreciate you guys always being here with us, joining us here on the lives, and then interacting with us. I really appreciate it. You guys are freaking awesome. Earlier today, we were talking about a lot of different topics. All good. I can understand why it takes a good amount of time. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it, man. Luckily, I haven't had anybody get upset about it. I know other educators have reported like people talking or bashing them because they're taking a while and stuff. So just hang in there with you guys, and and we'll help you guys the best we can. Do you have any website to learning? How about now? um, so, filosofía de diagnóstico, cheque la página masterautomotivetraining.com y ahí es donde va a poder ver, las clases en línea. Chequelas y si tiene alguna pregunta o comentario, déjelo aquí, aquí abajito. So Jonathan, my bad, bro. What I was saying was that you're probably the only person who's ever told me that they're actually interviewing the shop owner, which is freaking awesome, dude. Make sure you keep that up so this way you can be 100% and be ready for the in-person books, bro. Just check out the website. It's let me drop it in here real quick. That way you can get a set of them. These are besides my kids and my family, man, these are my pride and joy. Been putting a lot of work into these, a lot of sleepless nights. So check them out. Let me know what you guys think. So far, I've had a lot of good reviews from people that have bought them. A lot of people, a lot of my followers from Canada have purchased books. So check them out, guys. Clark, thank you. Just passed my A6. Sweet, man. Congratulations, bro. Hell yeah, that's what's up, man. Are you going for the L1 next or no? Don't stop, dude. Just keep going, man. That's what it's all about. For me, you know, like I was saying, we call it the MAT challenge, MAT ASC challenge. So when my students are ready to finish up A6, A8, they're part of the classes. They got to take the ASC. So when they do, then at that point we actually we let them know that um, I'm going to take them with them. So I go take ASC test too. And this is so this way they see that it's like, hey, it's not just you guys. You guys are in class. I'm in class with you, but we're all going to go take tests. So this way, if I fail some, great. If they pass, even better, right? So I'll be right there in the trenches with them because I feel that's how we should be as educators, right? Do what we do, right? Not just what we say. So that's why I have so many AACs right now is because of my students. So every time that they go take them, I take them. And it's cool because sometimes they'll show up kind of down like, man, I failed. And it's like, look, me too. So, you know, it helps me kind of ease up on them also. And then the guys who do pass, we write them a check. So we reimburse them their test fee. So this way they can see it's like, dude, that's how much I believe in you guys. And on our program that I'm willing to write you guys a check for passing your ASCs. So again, guys, if you guys take any ASCs and pass them, congratulations. Really proud of you guys. But they're not bragging rights. It's basically just letting you know it's a good way for you to gauge where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are, right? And if the more you understand what your weaknesses are, the better tech you're going to be, right? It's like I always talk about it. You know, you give me a transmission problem, I could diagnose it, but I can't fix it, right? Because I don't do transmissions. Okay, so something like that, I understand what my weaknesses are. Can I figure it out? Sure. Will it take me a hell of a lot of time? Yes, it will. So the best option for me would be to pass it on to somebody who specializes in that. But you got an electrical problem, an engine performance problem, or an emissions problem, I'm your guy, right? Because that's stuff that I do on a continuous basis. Those are my specialties. So I understand that and I know what my weaknesses are, and I'll tell you what my weaknesses are. So this way we understand it and we get off on the right foot. Okay, never don't play the part that you know something if you really don't, because then it's just gonna make shit worse. Does that make sense? So that's why for me it's always be upfront and let me know. You know what? I can't do that. Cool. Let me get somebody who can. Right? Like at the shop right now, we have a tech, and he's learning the diagnostic process. So the way that we'll do it is we'll give him a car. We'll give him easy ones, and then he'll kind of do his thing, and then he calls us, me or Jose, when he gets stuck. Then at that point it's like, all right, where are you? What did you do? What are your results? Right? We start walking him through the process, and then slowly but surely he starts figuring it out. So that's the best way of doing it. So this way he gets that real hands-on experience. That's exactly how we work classes here at the school, right? A car comes in for the shop. The shop will diagnose it, but then usually we'll probably keep it for the night, so that way my students could recheck it at night. And then they go through the whole diagnostic process. We'll give them the RO, so it's the full shebang, right? Whatever tool they need, they pull it out, test it, and see if they come out to the same result we did. If they don't, then we're gonna verify if we're wrong or they're wrong, and then from there, it becomes a really good learning experience for both of us because we get to see it as like, oh shit, look where they ended up, and this is why. And then for them, they're gonna understand why they ended up there, whether right or wrong, and then we go from there. So it's pretty cool. L, I am so sorry, bud. You had a comment there. Do you think ignition probe wands are worth the money? Yes. So if you already have a lap scope, yes, an ignition wand is worth the money. If you don't have a scope, I would suggest the GTC 505. That would probably be one of the better tools you can pick up. The GTC 505 does ignition waveform analysis without having to buy a scope. Now, if you have a lap scope, you don't need the 505. Just buy the ignition wand, right? Use the tools you already have to their fullest before you go out and buy some new ones, right? Because then that's why we end up like with a toolbox full of stuff that we hardly ever even use. Okay, so make sure you guys are up to that and staying on top of that. Don't buy tools that you're really not going to be using or duplicates of the same tool because you think it's doing something that it might not be. Okay. And George, I see your ebook order, man. I'll go ahead and grant you access here in a little bit. Um, best way to buy scope to start. So, uh, Dirty Wrench. Your question, bro, was what kind of, sorry, man. It's just your handle is like I'm not calling you Dirty Wrench. It's your name. Um, so how my answer to that is always how much are you wanting to spend, right? And then that's how I can kind of guide you to what kind of scope. If you have unlimited budget, I'd probably point you right towards a Pico 4425A, which would probably be the 4-channel good starter scope. And it's not a starter scope. That would be a full-on scope, but if you're going to get started, that's probably one of the better ways to do it. Right now, are there other options? Sure, you can get like a 1-channel U scope for like $200, but it's a 1-channel, right? An H scope probably run you about $100, but it's a 2-channel scope, right? One other one that I would recommend would probably be like an MP408, which is a Autel 4-channel. You could probably pick up an MP408 on eBay for like $200-300. That is a really good scope. The only thing is it doesn't have a lot of the advanced functionality like your Pico does, but in reality, not everybody uses those functionalities, so it's not a big deal, right? Then from there, you could probably get you into like a mic sig. If you need one, let me know. We're vendors for mic sig. I can get you a mic sig for like $800. Um, or if you need a Pico, we're also Pico distributors, and we can get it to you for like 3,800 bucks. And if you buy a scope from us as a school, we give you free training with it and support. So that's one of the better things about buying from us than buying from like Amazon. What test do you do most of the time using more than 2 channels like cam timing? So cam timing would probably be the most, but other than that would be if you're scoping multiple sensors. We've used more than 2 channels, like when we do an ignition coil with voltage and current, and then watching the injector, or when we're doing in cylinder and relative compression and vacuum. So there's a lot of times where you will be using more than 1 channel. I haven't ran into it yet where I need more than 4, but sooner or later I know it's going to happen. But as of right now, the 4-channel has done pretty much everything we needed to do. Now, most guys always ask, can I get a 2-channel? You sure can. You're just going to be limited to those 2 channels. Because of cam crank correlation, stuff like that, I always tell everybody go for a 4-channel. So this way you have those 4 channels available from the get-go. And then if you were to max that out, then obviously at that point, then you can go to 8-channel. Right now, Pico's like 4 months behind on those. So if you do get an 8-channel, it's going to be a while. The other thing I've seen some guys do, I haven't done this personally, but there's some techs like with a 4-channel scope, they'll set up channel 1 for a specific test, channel 2 is for a specific test, and then 3 and 4 are left for universal. They can use it for whatever they want. Good ranch do you guys have? We are working on a programming class. We should have it ready for next year. I would say probably first quarter next year. It's only going to be for GM and Toyota because those are the 3 that stay relatively the same and aren't changing as often as like
Stellantis is Chrysler. Plus Chrysler, most of the time, it's more expensive to do in-house than it is to send it to the dealer. So you got to weigh that option. Um, User, how long is your course? It depends on the course, but in person, for full diagnostic class, you're looking at uh, 14 weeks, 2 times a week. If it's online, depends on the subject, but they're usually about between 3 to 8 sessions. L's asking, are the 2 series Pico good? They are good scopes, but as a Pico distributor, I have to warn you that you cannot use a 2000 series on automotive. If you buy it and use it, that's on you. This is what I'm supposed to tell you. That's on you. So you kind of have to weigh your options there because it only has a 20-volt input. Online courses, the courses start anywhere between $50 to a couple $100, but we do have a monthly membership for $19. Gets you access to all new and pre-recorded courses, so you guys can take a look at that one. The website for that would be our website. Just click on the online courses tab, and then you'll be able to see all that right there. It says, Jonathan, do you need a separate channel for overlay cylinders like you talk about? So overlay, are you talking about like a reference channel where you have a known good waveform and then you want to put your bad one over it? Or are you talking about like a piston chart? Uh, Happy Thanksgiving weekend, Master Auto, and everyone in the log. Happy Thanksgiving weekend, man. Thank you for being here. I love the handle and your profile image, bro. So again, guys, I really appreciate everybody being on here for, especially right now during the time off and the weekend. We have some good stuff going on, some good sales. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, all our books right now are 15% off. These are all the books that I've been writing. So we got all these 15% off, including the ebooks on our webpage. Also, too, if you guys are interested in a top scan, Top Don gave me a great link where you guys can save some good amount of money on the actual top scan itself. Um, you get it for $79, I believe. So you get a good savings on that if you guys are looking for one. Um, Make sure you guys check out that link in the chat there. This is a Top Scan Pro. Top Scan Pro actually gives you guys the ability to do immobilizer settings and up to 13 resets, manufacturer specific and generic. So it's a really, really good tool. Make sure you guys check it out because right now it is on sale. Dirty Ranch, yes, we are in California. We're in Southern California, Rancho Cucamonga to be exact. So if you guys have seen the movie Friday, that's exactly where we are. We're in Rancho Cucamonga. So if you guys are in California, Southern California, make sure you guys come on by the school. I'd love to see you guys, take a picture with you guys, get you some stickers, and that way show you guys around and kind of introduce you guys to everybody. Oh, nice, man. Nice. I mean, it's a little far, but nothing too crazy. So if you're ever down in this area, bro, please let us know. Come on by, stop by the school, stop by the shop. We'll introduce you to everybody, take some pictures, and that way you guys could see exactly what we got going on, man. And if I'm ever up there, I'll definitely reach out. And usually when I'll be attending or traveling to other places to train, I always let you guys know on the lives. So just for example, might be in February, might be going to Alabama, teach a class. Then March, I'll be in Texas. Then in May, I'll be in North Carolina, and then possibly towards the end of the year in Super Saturday in PA. So we got a busy schedule coming up. So hopefully we can see you guys if you guys are out in those areas and be able to help you guys even more than what we already do, because we love what we do and we love that you guys are always behind us 110%. So I really appreciate that, guys. And then let's see if anybody has anything else you guys would want to drop in the chat, please do so. be on here for a couple more minutes, and then I got to button down for the day. That way I could get some house chores done, and then start getting ready for next week, back to school, getting students going again, and it's going to be super awesome. So again, I really wanted to thank everybody for being part. We're super thankful for you guys being part of the MAT family, MAT drive of what we do. We really appreciate all of you guys, because again, if you guys weren't part of it, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. You guys are always there. And again, just as a reminder, make sure you guys check out our page so you guys can pick up your own books. We have electrical engine performance, live data, advanced engine performance. I am working on a scope one. We have them in English and Spanish, and they're all 15% off right now. So make sure you guys take full advantage. We have them in print and we have them ebook. If you buy the ebook, once you buy them, we'll send you an email from our online portal where you can get access to the book. If you guys buy them printed, they'll be mailed out. If the ones we have in stock will be mailed out on Monday. We're waiting for a new batch of books that we should be getting by Thursday or Friday of next week, and then those will get mailed out to you guys. Also, too, stay tuned for some videos on these. There's a 2-channel lap scope voltmeter and a 1-channel scope that got sent to me, so I'm going to be testing those out and then giving you guys my honest opinions on them. So then this way you guys can see if that's something that might interest you. You can always pick it up. So again, guys, I'm super thankful for you guys. You guys are freaking awesome. I always say I love you guys, man, because if it wasn't for you guys, MAT wouldn't be around. Myself, that's why we're always here to better the automotive industry, one technician at a time. This starts with you guys, and that's why we're super blessed that you guys are part of the MAT family. And we're always super grateful and thankful that we're able to help you guys, and you guys are here pushing us to do better. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Make sure that you guys kind of write down some questions you might have for the next one. I'm going to do more sporadic lives with you guys, so that way we can chat a little bit more, because it's super fun. I get to meet all you guys and we all get to chat. So make sure that you guys are constantly touching base with us. Join up on the lives. Make sure you guys have questions, put them on there. And then also too, if there's any specific videos you guys would like to see, please let me know in the chat, so this way it gives me an idea of what I can do some video content for you guys, because that's what we're here for, right? Jonathan, we're thankful for you. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that, man. It means a lot, bro. Thank you. So with that, guys, thank you so much for giving me part of your Saturday. You guys are awesome. I really enjoyed every moment of today. You guys have some great questions, some great input. You guys are freaking awesome. Thank you guys so much. You guys enjoy, have a lot of fun, eat some leftovers, and I hopefully get to see you guys on the next one. From myself and everybody at Master Automotive Training, stay learning. The moment you decide to stop is the moment you got to roll your toolbox out and find a new career. Thank you guys for being on here today. You guys are freaking awesome. Oh, by the way, make sure you guys, I just saw somebody pop in real quick. If you guys are on TikTok, make sure you guys check out my good friend Gil Anchondo, one of the best painters that I've seen out there. He still does and has that old school feel and technique. Man, you guys should see the crazy car restoration he did in 30 freaking days. This guy is a beast, man. Gil, saludos, bro. So make sure you guys go follow my buddy Gil Anchondo, so that way you guys can see all the good stuff that Gil has to bring to the automotive industry from the auto body side. Make sure you guys check him out, man. He is the G. He is the man. Make sure you guys follow him, Gil Anchondo, right? He is the man when it comes to auto body. So make sure you guys give him a good follow. Go like some of his videos. Go help him move up, because you guys do not know, man, how good his body work is. So make sure you guys go check him out. All right, guys, I'm out of here for today. Man, you guys are